my experience is intuition comes when it needs to come, not when we always want it to come. Intuition, my experience, at least one aspect of intuition, is about presence, and it only operates in the present moment. Yoga is not such hard work. Yoga is something that's like amazing and enjoyable, and you just want to keep doing it, really. That's why I often feel like I'm guilty almost on an everyday basis of procrastination before sitting down to do a daily practice that I've been doing for, well over 20 years. So it's like, again. And so there's a natural, I call it natural, but maybe this is just me, procrastination tendency. And so then by the time I finally get to sit down and do the practice, once I really get into it and start enjoying it, it's time to go because I procrastinated too long. And so often there's that initial threshold. It's like there's this principle in Ayurveda that it's like when you're in good balance, when you're in harmony with your life and with life itself, you desire naturally the things that kind of exalt and maintain and cultivate that space. And when we're off rhythm, off our real sense of central self, then we tend to desire the things that kind of propel us further in that direction. And that becomes one of the great challenges of life. It's something that has to do with magnetism and the subconscious mind and the magnetics of the mind and how it works. That's the exploration of yoga, really. On what we see like in videos and photographs and just when we're watching people do yoga is the physical exercises. But the most important part of it is the mind. And pretty much all the different paths agree on that. And so the passing through that threshold where I have initial resistance until I don't want to leave is a great journey to go on. And we're all familiar with that, right? Sometimes we have resistance to certain things and then we do it anyways and we're so glad we did. And sometimes we have resistance and there's something else with it. There's like an intuition part of it that's like, maybe this is not for me. And then we don't listen to that. And then we get that same feedback as well. But resistance is different than intuition. But sometimes it's difficult to discern between the two, isn't it? We're always navigating, discerning with our minds. It's like, should I, this way, that way, which way? Yeah, and often it's just we have to be patient. And my experience is intuition comes when it needs to come, not when we always want it to come. Intuition, my experience, at least one aspect of intuition, is about presence, and it only operates in the present moment. It doesn't operate kind of outside of that. So in other words, it's not so much about the future as much as it is knowing what I need to know at the moment I need to know it. So there's some sort of a GPS that we have, definitely. We all have guidance systems. We're all fully equipped with that. We have our own innate wisdom. Everyone does. And so then it's to test that wisdom, test that intelligence that we have. And by testing it, you're cultivating it, you're developing it. Intuition is not something that's just kind of you have it or you don't. It's something that we're always taking care of. Taking care of the intuitive part of our mind helps us all to stay healthy and happy. Because it's the intuitive part of the mind that doesn't get overwhelmed by all the waves of the human emotions. Because intuition isn't really about pleasures and gains. Intuition is about dharma. Intuition is about sense of purpose. Intuition is about meaningfulness. Intuition is somehow like the heart and the mind in good communication. Somehow. poetically speaking at least. Maybe we can feel it that way. So that's what a little bit of tonight is about, is developing the intuitive mind, but really also the cosmic heart, where we feel connectivity to everything, and we get to enjoy the wonderfulness of life and not, miss the forest for the trees. And so intuitive mind allows one to thrive even if things are very, very, very difficult, even in catastrophe. So it's not just intuition. When we say intuitive mind, it's called the meditative mind. It's the same as sometimes we say the Ajna Chakra, the third eye. Its symbol is a two-petaled lotus, the Ajna Chakra. And the word Ajna in Sanskrit means command, so it's inferring that it's kind of becomes like your commanding center in terms of your guidance system, your access point. But the two petals of the lotus, each different chakra, a different number of petals. The Ajna Chakra has two, which represents the negative and the positive, the masculine and the feminine, the posterior and anterior pituitary gland, the left and the right channels of the spine, Ida, Pingala, the sun channel and the moon channel. Then you have the central channel up the center. It's a whole science and art. And so the intuitive psyche is that which is not somehow in between the positive and the negative. It's what in Kundalini Yoga they call the neutral mind. And so your negative mind is always, the negative mind is the part of the mind that is discerning in nature. It's protecting in nature. Will this harm me? Is this right for me? Does this feel good? The positive mind is the part of the psyche that's always after opportunity. What can I get from this? How can this expand me? And yet it's the neutral mind, that's the intuitive mind, that can see both the negative and the positive, and then to be able to move from that. Again, you're seeing the forest for the trees. It's taking a more wide-angled lens. The negative is not so emotionally overwhelming, and the positive is also not so emotionally overwhelming. When the neutralized psyche, neutral doesn't sound fun, does it? Sounds like you don't have any opinions. How boring would that be if we didn't have opinions? We have some opinions. We think certain things about some things, but at the end of the day, we don't really know. All of it's the mind. All of it is thoughts, feelings, emotions, desires. It's that third eye, intuitive psyche, neutral mind that opens up the channels. And so then we can see our life from a wider perspective, and we'll make wisdom decisions for our life, and we'll keep getting more prosperous, and we'll keep getting more happy, because it's called following the path of one's dharma. And it's easy, though, to be kind of just like pummeled. What's the word when like a wave is crashing? Waves are crashing over you. That word. Don't we sometimes feel that just by life? Life in a day is in a day. Every single day, aren't we? Struggling. Y'all aren't? I am. Struggling. I'm a mess most of the time is how I feel. That's how I feel. But I'm having fun, though. So it takes effort to keep things centered. It takes effort to keep things operating in that type of intuitive neutrality. It's not bad effort. It takes effort to build your muscles. You have to go work out. It takes effort to keep your heart and circulatory system healthy as we get older. Better work out. Better not get too stagnant, right? These things take effort. Also, the psyche, being able to have its greater intuitive, subtle sensitivities being cultivated takes effort. It's worth every moment of it. Because when you have that, you're starting to have everything. Because all of our lives is filtered through our minds. And so when the mind can reach this kind of open, intuitive equilibrium space, which is the meditative space, and it's not just, that's our goal. We're going to go on a meditation journey tonight. But the goal isn't just to only be in the meditative space when only I'm meditating, but also the act of meditating or doing these kriyas is carving that for us. It's opening that for us, so then it's more available in our life. And so more and more we start to be able to kind of anytime we really need to, we can kind of drop in to that part of our psyche. It's not difficult as long as we become familiar with it and keeping connection to it. And that's what sadhana is all about, some sort of regular practice that keeps us connected in that type of way. Not just the physical and material parts of our world, including our health and all of that, but also the subtle. Because at the end of this lifetime, it's the subtle that we'll be traveling through. So this is good to be intimate into that space, because this is like what people call heavenly. To be in the subtle space is to cultivate bliss for the body and the mind. Not bliss that's some sort of thing that is like ecstatic and out of control. No, this is, when we say bliss in this context, it's in between positive and negative somehow. It's the bliss that comes from that open, neutralized psyche that then, through that bliss, we gain wisdom perspective. So bliss, like as Tenzin Bob, Robert Thurman's book, he says, wisdom is bliss, because the saying is always ignorance is bliss. But in fact, it's the opposite. Ignorance is suffering, and wisdom is bliss. That's the real thing. You try it out. See, maybe not.
Thanks for watching on YouTube. Best easy way to stay in touch with us. Hit the subscribe button here. You'll see our videos when they come up. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. It'll help more people see it, help the channel grow. I appreciate you watching.